Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 6? Yes, hello my friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 6 of NaNoWriMo. It is quite late. This is the latest I have gotten started since Nano started. It is 7:40. I'm in pajamas, I'm like ready for bed apart from these earrings I have on, and I figured now's a good time to work on my project a little bit. Today is Monday. I had a very busy work day. Mondays tend to be really busy. So that kept me occupied until, you know, late this afternoon, and then did a bunch of horse chores, made dinner, hung out and watched Netflix for a little bit, and now here we are. So I don't expect to get a lot done today, but we are working on chapter 11, I think. Yes, chapter 11. And as far as I know, Mew is back there too. She's making an appearance. Let's see, I'm pretty sure I'm on chapter 11, and from what I can recall, chapter 11 is quite a fun chapter, but I think it's really long too. So it might be that we just barely get started on chapter 11 today since it's already late and I'm honestly quite tired from my work day. Okay, that took me a second to get to look through everything, but okay, yes. I am working on chapter 11 and it is a bit of a long chapter. It's 7 pages. 7 pages of 8.5 by 11 Microsoft Word doc. But I honestly think most of this is going to be just fine, because this is the chapter that is the new world. It's the, we've kind of pushed into Act 2, we're now in the new world, and it's a really fun scene. We are at a glamorous ball, there are people dancing, there's music, there's so much fun stuff going on, and this chapter I think is going to be totally fine, apart from a few little details that'll need to be tied in. So I might actually be able to finish chapter 11 tonight. So because it's late, I'm just gonna make that my goal. We're gonna finish chapter 11. I'm gonna read through this. I am going to, tidy up any little plot details that I need to make consistent with the rest of the story. And if I can get this done tonight, I will be more than happy, considering how late it already is. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into day 6 of Nano and chapter 11 of my Nano project. Let's get started. Hello my friends and welcome back. Today is Tuesday, November 7th, the 7th day of NaNoWriMo, and I never followed up with you last night because I worked until 9:30, got pretty tired and didn't feel like filming. So we are doing a mashup of days 6 and 7. So in terms of what I accomplished last night, I actually got more done than I thought I was going to. I ended up finishing chapter 11 and I got started on chapter 12, and I almost finished chapter 12, but then I realized I needed to introduce a new character and have a brief scene with that new character at the end of chapter 12. So that is what I am working on right now. It won't be a super long scene, but I did need to get this character in there because this character is going to appear a little later in the book, like a couple more chapters down. I think he is going to show up again, so I wanted to make sure that I got him introduced earlier on so that we would know who he is when he comes back. So pretty short scene. I will be able to get this finished tonight, and then from there I get to move into chapter 13, and chapter 13 is going to need a slight bit of editing because this was the proposal, so I'm going to reword that and just kind of change it up a little bit because we don't need him to propose anymore now. So the goal for tonight will be chapter 12 and chapter 13 done, and then from there tomorrow I can start on chapter 14. I'm still making really good progress. Hang on, my potato soup is boiling. Okay, anyway, I turned the soup down. The kitchen's kind of messy, it needs cleaned. I just have not been feeling super energized lately to get things done. I've been feeling pretty tired, and you can see that it's taking a toll on the house. But what was I saying? So we're going to finish chapter 12 and chapter 13 tonight. That's gonna be our goal. And then from there, I will pause, look ahead on my outline, and kind of see where we're going from there. I'm using my new 27 beat. It's supposed to be 27 chapters, but I'm using it as like beats, 27 beat outline structure to kind of guide me along the way, and I have done a lot of work to this outline. So hopefully it's where it needs to be now. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in, finish up chapter 12, and get a good start on chapter 13. Welcome back to the channel. I may have already welcomed you yesterday, and let's get some writing done. Okay, with that, chapter 12 is officially complete. Let me check in on our word count real quick here. So we are currently sitting at 50,997 words, so we're about to hit 51,000. I just finished this chapter. I'm actually happy with how it wrapped up. I was able to add a little bit more conflict to it. I was able to introduce a new character, so I think I improved it. So we're gonna go ahead and pour a bowl of potato soup. I have some saltine crackers to eat with it, and we're gonna dive into chapter 13. Okay, it's 7:34. I finished my dinner, and I also finished chapters 12 and 13. So I am pretty happy with the changes I made to chapter 12. I added a little bit more tension, and you know, we got to meet that new character, and we spent a little bit more time with the other side character who was introduced in this scene. She eventually becomes a bit of a villain to our main character, and yet originally this chapter just like vaguely introduced her and then she was gone. So I did want to spend a little bit more time with her, and I do think I pulled that off, at least for now. Chapter 13 took a little bit more revision. I had to like cut some conversations, rewrite some conversations, and just generally kind of smooth it out. But from this point forward, I mean, all of the like wedding proposal stuff is cleared up, because this was the chapter that the proposal happened in, and now that I have smoothed that over, everything from that point forward, it should be accurate in terms of they're engaged now. So that was something that was like a big thread that needed to be updated throughout, and now I think I'm good, and I think I'm like done with that plot thread. Oh no, I've just realized that I might have made a mess of this. I have a scene in chapter 7 that was actually supposed to be in chapter like 14 or 15. So that is now a mess. So I've actually made a mess for myself there. So I'm gonna get off camera and focus on this outline, because I didn't realize that I had made this mess, and now I have to fix it. So let me do that, and then I'll let you know how I'm feeling and where we're going from here. Okay, I think I fixed it. All is well. I did need to add a couple more details to the outline for chapters 14 and 15, because the way I kind of had it was that we have like the push into the new world, a little bit of fun and games, and then suddenly we're at the midpoint, and that happened a bit too fast. But then I realized, oh, I actually have these 2 new chapters that I have to write. So I will have to completely write fresh chapters for chapter 14 and chapter 15. So that will likely take me a couple of days. That's definitely going to slow me down. And then the midpoint will be chapter 16. And that feels pretty good, knowing that right now I have about 30 chapters outlined. So the fact that the midpoint is falling at about chapter 16 is great, because that is around the midpoint. Chapter 15 would be exactly at the midpoint, but the midpoint happening in chapter 16, that means that I am on track in terms of how this story needs to be structured. So that makes me feel good. And then I guess one other thing I wanted to touch base with you on before I wrap up today's and yesterday's vlog is that last night I was actually feeling pretty frustrated. I was just feeling like maybe a little bit too close to the story, and I was telling Greg, like, I feel that I'm so close to the story that I'm not really having an emotional connection with it anymore, and it has become difficult to see my work clearly. And I'd love to know if this is something that you struggle with. Like, once you have just been working on something for so long, it's hard to even look at it clearly and say, is this working? Is this not working? Do I need to make revisions here? Am I going overboard in my revisions? So I was definitely having a little bit of like a crisis last night, thinking, am I on the right track with this? Am I going the right direction? Are people going to enjoy this book? And I did start wondering if perhaps a critique partner would be helpful for me. You know, preferably a critique partner who also writes like spicier romance. And I'm wondering if that's something that I should kind of look into. I would love to know if you have had success with a critique partner and finding a critique partner. Let me know how you did so. I mean, I do have YouTube, so I could potentially like reach out here on YouTube and see if there are any spicy romance writers who might be looking for a critique partner. I don't know. I'm not sure how that would go, especially with my work schedule and such. Like, I don't really have a ton of time and open availability to be working on more books, but at the same time, like, I could really use the help, and I'm sure there are other people out there who feel the same way, and they could really use the help too, and use like fresh eyes on their manuscript. So that's just an idea that kind of came to me last night. I've kind of been juggling it in my head today, but I don't know what that means long term. But I might potentially be on the lookout for a critique partner here in the future. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, if you're a spicy romance writer, maybe let me know, or, you know, keep an eye out, and I might be posting something about critique partners. I don't know. You can tell how wishy-washy I'm being because I have not made any like solid decisions. But what I do know is that the closer I get to my stories, the harder it is to see them for what they actually are. And I think fresh eyes would really help me. So that is where we are going to wrap it up today. So tomorrow we are going to start on chapter 14. I would love to finish my editing work early tomorrow, and then, you know, maybe like exercise or do something to take a little break and like separate my work day from my writing. And I would like to be able to have like a fresh mind for writing a new chapter tomorrow. I've been writing a few new scenes, but I haven't actually written a new chapter yet. Or have I? Have I? I have. What am I saying? I have. Okay, I definitely have. But this chapter, I'm not going to be able to pull anything over because there was nothing like this in the original draft, nor was there anything like the next one coming up. So I do have a lot of new content to write over the course of these next few days, and we'll see. Like, I would like to get these done probably by, I don't know, Friday, Saturday. So that is my kind of tentative plan, tentative goal moving forward. I hope NaNoWriMo is going well for you. Do please let me know any thoughts on critique partners and where you have found them down below, because that's something that I would like to look into. And I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna probably sit down and watch some NaNoWriMo vlogs from other creators. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow for NaNoWriMo Day 8. Bye.